CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight in Sarnia, where another senior police officer has been suspended. It's the latest development after an investigation was launched last month into a harassment complaint against Sarnia's police chief. Now, one of his deputies has been suspended from duties, along with an unnamed civilian member. For more, here's Brian Bicknell.
Deputy Chief Ron Hansen is suspended from his duties along with a civilian member of Sarnia Police. The announcement by the Sarnia Police Service Board follows an investigation which began last month into a workplace harassment complaint against Chief Derek Davis, currently under suspension. That investigation is being conducted by a Toronto law firm.
Well, it's certainly not a vote of confidence in the top administration of the police service or the board.
Sarnia Mayor Mike Bradley saying the suspensions do not bode well for public confidence in the police service.
Even though we're responsible to the taxpayers of this community for the police budgets and the spending. That's the real dysfunctional nature of this system.
Ron Hansen was named deputy chief in 2024, hailing from Halton Regional Police. That's where Derek Davis had been hired from 2 years earlier. The board confirms the latest suspensions are related to information that came to light during the investigation into Davis. Bradley suggests it's time Ontario's Inspector General of Policing took a close look at how Sarnia Police is being run.
I would think that they're obviously aware of the situation going on here with the deputy now being suspended. They're aware of the chief being suspended. And to me, they should be coming in and investigating the operation of the board itself, not just looking at the administrative side of things.
In a statement to CTV News, the Inspectorate of Policing says the Inspector General has been actively monitoring the situation and is satisfied the police board has taken appropriate steps to ensure the allegations are being investigated while maintaining the stability of the service. The board points out suspensions are not findings of misconduct, and it's taking steps to ensure the integrity of the investigation. In the meantime, Interim Chief Mike Federico assumes the day-to-day leadership of the police service during the investigation. He takes over from Acting Chief Mike Van Sickle. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Oxford OPP say they're investigating a stolen pride flag cut down at a Norwich elementary school this weekend. It's the second pride-related incident reported at the same school this month. And as Rita Ismail reports, it's becoming a regular occurrence in this particular community.
A rainbow drawn in chalk now greets students outside Emily Stowe Public School in Norwich. It's beside the spot where a flagpole stood just days ago, until police say two suspects went on school property Saturday night, cut down the metal flagpole and stole a recently replaced pride flag. Oxford OPP say it's the second incident targeting the school's pride flag this month.
Unfortunately, we have had two incidences in Norwich since the 1st of June. One was the 1st of June, where two individuals attended the Emily Stowe School in Norwich, climbed up the pole, took the pride flag down, and then proceeded to burn it.
For some residents, the repeated incidents are becoming increasingly concerning.
It's every year, and it escalates every year. It gets worse. Everybody's entitled to their own beliefs and their own philosophies, but respect for one another and respect for other people's property and public community property is important.
The president of Oxford Pride says the latest act of vandalism sends a troubling message.
The escalation of cutting down the flagpole, it's a little more of an aggressive point that they're making. So it's concerning for the youth and the citizens of Norwich.
The Thames Valley District School Board declined an interview request, but in a statement to families said, in part, the pride flag is a visible reminder that two LGBTQIA+ identities are affirmed and that belonging matters. There is no place for hatred or discrimination in our school community. The Township of Norwich also condemned the vandalism, saying it has no place in the community and that Norwich should be safe and welcoming for everyone. Police describe the suspects as white men in their late teens or early 20s with thin builds. One was wearing a light-colored shirt, blue shorts, and dark-colored boots. The other was wearing a light-colored hat, a black T-shirt, and blue pants. As the investigation continues, police are urging anyone with information to come forward.
I want to remind people that incidents like this, it's not just one victim, there's many victims. If you know anything, you've heard something, you've seen something, please either come forward to the OPP or Crime Stop. We need to catch these people and hold them accountable.
Rita Ismail, CTV News.
To a murder trial in St. Thomas, where the court heard graphic details today about the death of a 22-year-old woman at her boyfriend's house 3 years ago. With more on today's proceedings, here's Nick Paparella.
22-year-old Caitlin Jennings was in a relationship with a man who was almost 30 years older. But in July of 2023, it all came crashing down when her beaten and lifeless body was found at her boyfriend's house at 562 Kingsway Avenue in London. Police would arrest and charge 53-year-old David Norman Yates. The Crown outlined its case in the opening address. Multiple blunt force trauma injuries were sustained as a result of multiple blows. It is the Crown's theory that Mr. Yates used objects including a hammer or hammers and beat Ms. Jennings to death. Then she referred to a phrase found in a notebook at the house, saying, in his own words, Mr. Yates wrote that he killed his best friend. The Crown said, realizing what he had done, he contemplated suicide, and when that failed, he called 911 and essentially confessed to what he did. He did not act in self-defense. That 911 call was the first piece of evidence entered as an exhibit at the trial. When it played, you can hear Yates saying from his home, "I hurt my best friend." The 911 operator asks, "Is she breathing?" And he responds, "No." Yates has pled not guilty to second-degree murder. However, at the outset of the trial, he did offer to plead guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter. That was rejected by the Crown, and the trial got underway. Much of the morning was taken up with legal arguments over whether the family and friends of the victim can appear in court with signs, photos, and T-shirts in support of Caitlin. In the end, they were asked to refrain from doing so.
To me, to be here is to be her voice.
Caitlin's father, Dan, says he seeks justice for his daughter.
I know she's with me in spirit. I just wish I didn't have to be here. I'd rather her be physically right beside me.
The trial is slated to last 3 weeks. In St. Thomas, Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Hundreds of Londoners gathered in the city's northwest this weekend, marking the 5th anniversary of the attack on the Afzal family. On June 6, 2021, 4 members of the Afzal family were killed when they were run over by Nathaniel Veltman. A young boy was also injured and he survived. On Saturday, speakers said the anniversary is about ensuring lessons from that day are not forgotten.
The fact of the matter is Islamophobia exists daily. It continues. The venom and hate continue. And we need to address it.
We developed a whole action plan to combat Islamophobia, and we've worked through a good portion of that plan, recognizing significant anniversaries like this, the 5th year anniversary.
Veltman was convicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder, while the judge deemed he committed an act of terrorism. His appeal is currently before the courts. Provincial police say they're looking for a suspect involved in a crash in Ingersoll from yesterday. That crash happened at the end of a police chase where one suspect was apprehended while another got away. With more from Oxford County, here's Brent Lale.
All of a sudden, we heard this big bang.
That's when Ingersoll resident Dylan Kronmeyer saw a vehicle had slammed into his neighbor's van.
We jumped up. We got our security cameras, actually caught some footage of somebody, running away from the scene.
That somebody was a woman fleeing the scene of the crash. She would be arrested just a few meters away.
We live on a dead-end street, so I think she got to the end of the dead-end street and kind of hit. She had nowhere to go.
And while she was apprehended, the driver of the vehicle is still at large. large. Police say it was just before 8 a.m. Sunday morning when they responded to a collision on the 401 near Folden's Line.
One of the vehicles involved fled the scene, and that vehicle was later located in the town of Ingersoll after it collided with a residence in the area of Charles Street. An occupant from that involved vehicle fled from the area on foot and remains outstanding. That individual is described as a male black, thin build, wearing a white T-shirt and dark jogging pants. This individual is not wearing any shoes.
Those white high tops are in the backyard of neighbor Ben Cook. He was out walking his dog a few meters away when the crash happened.
The guy ran one way, went next door running through my backyard, lost his shoes in the meantime, and his girl or girlfriend went running down the other street, and she ended up getting caught across the tracks, but he's still at large.
OPP spent the day looking through the community with a helicopter circling for hours. They used a drone, and officers from the emergency response team were walking in the area. Neighbors describe it as a crazy morning.
Probably be the talk of the month. Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
A major milestone for Phase 2 of the Reimagine Southdale project, building new public housing in London.
We are all working together to the same goal: clean, safe, well-maintained and affordable housing.
It needs to be the top of all of our agendas, because when we work together, we can actually tackle this issue.
Officials say the project will eventually house 177 families in 3 buildings with a mix of affordable and rent geared to income apartments. They also say it's the first project offering rent geared to income housing for LMCH in more than 50 years. 2 of the 3 buildings have also reached their final height now of 6 stories.
Now we're going to do the important work to make this building homes for 53 households. So it's going to be about 12 months until we complete that. So we expect people to be moving in the summer of 2027.
I recently had a chance last week to speak to the CEO of Build Canada Homes, Anna Bilal, talked about this project, invited her to come down and see it. And this is the kind of innovation that can be, repeated here in London, but across the country.
After months of construction, organizers behind a new affordable housing project in northeast London are giving us a look inside. As Lauren Stallone reports, the units are designed with accessibility in mind.
Construction is one step closer to completion at an affordable housing project in northeast London, expected to open in February.
We started 2.5 years ago with just a hope and a dream and a picture of a building.
Located at 1500 Huron Street, the development will include 73 units.
52 are affordable, and the remaining 21 are going to be at market.
Deemed St. Vincent's on Huron, the project was started by the Society of St. Vincent de Paul London, a Catholic charity.
We were hoping to have 100% affordable, but because of our funding from the city and from the governments, we had to mix it up. But our goal is still going to be eventually 100% down the road.
The building also includes 16 accessible units that feature 38-inch wide door frames like this one. That's 6 inches wider than the standard size.
All the switches are at the right level. The bathrooms in all the apartments are fully accessible, and you can get into them straight from the bedrooms or, from the hallway.
Volunteers with the project say while this is a step in the right direction to address the homelessness crisis in our community, there is still much more to be done.
We're going to continue, and we've raised already over $500,000 towards our second project, and we're looking for land.
The application process to live in the building will begin in September. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
After years of construction and plenty of delays, it appears the Gordie Howe International Bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit is ready to officially open. A Detroit area news outlet is reporting the crossing will be ready for traffic next Monday. With more, here's Robert Lothian.
After 8 years of construction, the Gordie Howe International Bridge could open to traffic on Monday. The Detroit News, citing multiple sources, is reporting Canadians and Americans alike could begin making trips early next week. This Friday, the Canadian Press is reporting officials will gather to cut the ribbon.
There's speculation more on the Monday opening, but the Friday seems to be the real intent for the ribbon cutting, and Monday would be for the public.
Former Windsor West MP Brian Massey says he's received confirmation of a planned ceremony. Spending years fighting to make the bridge a reality, he says the opening is long overdue.
I'm past it. I mean, really just right now, the best interest for everybody is to open it, not only just for our local community, but for the country and also for the United States.
CTV News has reached out to officials at all levels of Canadian government, but so far there's been no confirmation of an opening date. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins saying an invitation hasn't made its way to his office.
I'm hopeful that if we get to a point in time where we find a pathway forward with a new trade agreement with the United States and Mexico, that it would be the type of event where we'd actually get a ribbon cutting on the middle, where the President and the Prime Minister meet in the middle and we celebrate a binational relationship and the trade agreements that we have in place.
Bridge officials previously saying construction is complete and final testing has lasted several months. Last week, the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary telling a committee they are ready to go.
We have the personnel dedicated, ready to move. The contractor hasn't signed off on final stuff. He had a deadline the 1st of May. He didn't make that deadline, so we're still waiting on that to take place.
So now with the new span built and a finish line finally in sight, Massey says Windsor can now have the bridge that it truly deserves.
Putting up with congestion, traffic, pollution, the consequences of bad urban planning, being ripped off from having to pay for some of this infrastructure for decades upon decades upon decades is all part of this in terms of making our city beautiful, a good place to live and a good place for our future.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Premier Doug Ford is in Washington this week leading his own trade delegation. With more on his message ahead of high-level negotiations, here's Abigail Beeman.
The Premier's focus here in Washington is what he calls Fortress North America. Doug Ford comes to D.C. with a message that echoes what we saw from federal U.S.-Canada Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc last week. A full renewal of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico free trade deal will benefit economies on both sides of the border. That deal is up for review July 1st. Ford holds a series of meetings during his 2 days in the capital, his office not sharing much, and they're closed to media, but we know they include auto sector leads, agriculture reps, and a range of businesses. And a source tells CTV News he will meet lawmakers, including some high-ranking members of Congress. Tonight included a reception with Ross Perot Jr., the American billionaire chair of the board at the United States Chamber of Commerce. An industry source tells us the focus there is more broadly Canadian bilateral issues rather than Ontario-specific. And Ford has a history of controversy in U.S.-Canada trade negotiations. After this ad featuring Ronald Reagan in October, President Donald Trump called off talks with Canada. When he was here in Washington, LeBlanc said that freeze is over. He also said he would be speaking with the United States Trade Representative this week. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Washington.
Still ahead, experience Stratford, a chance to walk the festival city and get a first-hand history lesson. Strength in the base metal, technology, and energy sectors help raise Canada's main stock index today. The TSX gained 65 points. In New York, the Dow lost 81. The Nasdaq added 220. The Canadian dollar dropped 0.12 cents. On commodity markets, gold dropped almost $2 an ounce. Oil added 76 cents a barrel. The federal government has announced a program to support airlines dealing with high fuel prices. With more on the relief package and how it will work, here's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Ahead of a busy travel season, the federal government is offering airlines a boost to help offset the impact of turbulent oil prices.
This is an important step, an important signal from the federal government that they are watching this situation closely and that they're willing to put some money on the table to prevent, difficulties from taking place in the Canadian airline industry.
Experts say domestic ticket prices in Canada have gone up at least 15% since the war in Iran began. In late April, U.S. Gulf Coast jet fuel hit $4.34 USD a gallon. Now it's fallen to around $3.50 a gallon, still well above the pre-war price, where it hovered around $2.
It will take some time for things to go back to normal. Even if the Strait of Hormuz reopens this month, it's going to take time for ships to travel back to it and then the oil from the Middle East to hit global markets.
The Finance Department says that's why they're offering airlines up to $150 million in repayable loans to provide stability and to ensure continued reliable flight access for Canadian air travelers.
The marketplace will drive airline behavior. This strategy of $150 million with strings attached is not going to be enough to drive the, airline behavior.
The Conservatives, though, doubt this plan that, similar to what Ottawa offered airlines during the pandemic, will help passengers.
The consumer is never never the one that gets the benefit from any of these government bailouts. They are not fixing the crux of the problem.
Airlines who choose to apply for these loans will have to agree to limit executive compensation and to maintain Canadian operations. But the exact details, according to finance officials, will be up for negotiation. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Clear conditions will make way for a bit of cloud cover overnight. We'll go partly cloudy. Waking up tomorrow morning to some cloud and the risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Thanks, Michelle, for this photo. If you are heading out for a walk with the pup in the morning, expect temperatures on the warm side. Muggy conditions expected first thing in the morning and hot and humid in the afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. Your local forecast details are coming up right after this.
Welcome back with Julie on the desk now. And actually, Julie, right now, if you go outside on a clear sky right now, there's a chance you could see something called the cosmic kiss, which I noticed while my partner and I were driving back from Toronto last night. You can see Venus and Jupiter just in the sky. They're just up there, naked eye. You can see them.
And so bright and so close together. And I think you were calling it cosmic kiss.
Cosmic kiss is what they're calling it.
Yes. So I have had some viewers send in some photographs, so I'll be able to share those in the coming days. But definitely some beautiful sky at night. Definitely something to take note of and check out. Now, we do have the chance for thunderstorms overnight as some warm, moisture-rich air moves in, and we'll see a bit of cloud cover come in. In terms of our temperature today, it was nice and hot this afternoon, 28 and 14. But what you'll notice in this forecast is a major change in the humidity. So today was not too bad. It felt like 31 this afternoon, so nothing that we couldn't tolerate, but in the coming days it'll start to feel like the upper 30s. So satellite radar showing the instability just off to the west and the northwest and off to the south. We've had high pressure in play through the day today, but that high pressure moving out tonight as it drifts eastward, and as a result we have the chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms coming in tomorrow. So we have a warm front that's going to hang out and push northward along that frontal boundary, the potential for some thunderstorms. If we get under one of these, possibility of about 10 to 20 millimeters of rain, so a moisture-laden air mass associated with it. Lots of humidity in the coming days, so we are shifting gears this week. We're getting back into the sticky stuff. Unfortunately, not the weather many people enjoy. The showers through the day will be scattered in nature. So you can see not everyone in southern Ontario will be picking up rainfall. There'll be some showers here and there. And again, the potential for thunderstorms will linger right through the day and into the evening. I know many outdoor sporting events go on during the evening hours. Some of them will be fine, others will not. So it's really going to depend on how these showers shape up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that through the day. And then as we head into the evening, still the chance for rainfall into the night. So overnight tonight, temperature will dip down between about 17 and 15 across most of the region, with some milder spots near Lake Erie and near Lake Huron coming in at 18 overnight. Your Tuesday forecast, by lunchtime 27, 29 the forecast high, and winds out of the south-southwest anywhere from 15 to 20 kilometers per hour. But it'll really be the humidity that has everyone talking, I'm sure, feeling like the upper 30s over the coming days. Wednesday, mainly cloudy, humid, and 29. Thursday, 31, a 40% chance of showers. Same weather story on Friday with a 40% chance of showers. The tricky thing with this forecast really is where the areas of rainfall set up, because we desperately need some rain. It's been extremely dry. So not everyone's going to see the showers, but the areas that do pick up the rain could see some torrential downpours. Mix of sun and cloud Saturday and Sunday, shaping up to be a nice weekend, and a mix of sun and cloud on Monday. Midwestern Ontario, your forecast hot and humid. The greatest chance for showers for you will come late afternoon into the evening, but the chance of pop-up showers and thunderstorms will linger in the coming days. It's going to be hot and humid with daytime highs between 27 and 29, but conditions clear up for the weekend and we'll hit 25 to 26 degrees. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. Forest City London Music Week is underway, featuring several free events. The kickoff party was held over the weekend at the Gathering on the Green in Old South. Organizers say there are hundreds of artists lined up for performances through next weekend, a celebration of London's connection to music.
Well, we're off to a great start, and let's not forget that the most important thing is that over the course of the London Music Week, we are honoring over 200 musicians who are nominated across all the award categories, and over 300 musicians are being paid to perform at all of the events throughout the city, and they're all free.
Finally tonight, a Stratford woman has launched a new business offering guided tours of the festival city. With more on her inspiration and what she hopes visitors take away with them, here's Scott Miller.
On this site here used to stand our old post office.
Lori Leduc is offering visitors to Stratford something different this summer.
I offer a guided walking tour of downtown Stratford, pointing out some of our local buildings, our unique architecture, and also telling stories about the people, places, and events that shaped the past.
Leduc has spent much of her life in Stratford and area, but after recently spending 18 months in the United Kingdom, she returned to the area with an idea that the tourist-heavy region might be missing something.
There was a bit of a gap. We had great audio tours, we had maps, but nothing about an in-person guide to take you around. And when I travel, that's what I like to do, so I decided to embark on that.
History is right up Leduc's alley with her Master of Arts degree in Public History. Stratford Festival's epic history in the city is obviously front and center in her tours, as is its most famous native son, Justin Bieber. But Leduc does focus on many different parts of Stratford's past that tourists and locals alike might be unaware of.
I point out an interesting tree that we have growing in front of the Perth County Courthouse. It's a royal oak tree given to us by King George VI back in 1937. So coming up to be 90 years of age soon. So a neat little connection to the king and the royal family. I started a women's history tour. That's something new this summer. So I'm always trying to find new topics and new interesting information.
Leduc's Stratford walking tours also has a nighttime ghost walking tour along with a river tour, something for everyone, whether longtime resident or first-time visitor to the festival city, which sees upwards of 600,000 tourists each and every year.
In the summertime, during the height of the festival, I get the tourists who are visiting Stratford, but I get the locals as well. They come out, maybe want to entertain some family and friends, will bring out their guests, but also I do ghost tours, and those are very popular with the locals.
In Stratford, Scott Miller, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.